My beloved, my cherished heart, I come to you now, my voice not as a distant thunder from a faraway heaven, but as a gentle and intimate whisper that rises from the very center of your own soul. I come because I have seen you in your quietest and most vulnerable of moments. I have seen you walking through the rooms of your home, carrying a weight upon your spirit that no one else can see. I have felt the profound and often unspoken ache within you, the deep and holy yearning for a sign, for a tangible and undeniable proof that you are not alone, that your prayers are not just empty words scattered into a silent and indifferent void. I have witnessed you looking at your life, at the challenges that surround you, at the chaos of the world, and I have heard the silent prayer that you have barely dared to form even in your own mind. God, if you are real, if you can truly hear me, if you truly see my struggle and my love for you, please, just give me a sign. Anything. One small, irrefutable token to let me know that I am heard, that I am loved, and that I am not walking this path alone. You have asked for proof. You have longed for a tangible anchor for your faith in a world that so often feels intangible and disconnected from the divine. You have yearned for a secret, a miracle, meant only for you, a whisper from heaven that could cut through the noise of your doubt and bring peace to your weary heart. And I am here today, as the direct and loving messenger of the divine source of all that is, to deliver a message that your soul has been aching to hear. That prayer, that most intimate and vulnerable of all your sacred requests, has been heard. And, my beloved, it has just been answered. You have felt it drawing near, haven't you? A palpable energy, a shimmering potentiality hovering just at the edge of your perception. It is the awaited miracle, the great and beautiful blessing you have been praying for, the answer to your heart's most fervent and deeply held desire. You can sense its proximity with an almost physical awareness. It is like standing outside a locked door behind which a magnificent celebration is taking place. You can feel the warmth emanating from under the threshold, hear the faint strains of joyous music, perhaps even smell the fragrant aroma of a feast prepared in your honor. It feels tantalizingly close, as if you could simply reach out and touch it. You know, with a certainty that resonates deeper than logic, that just beyond this thin veil, just on the other side of this invisible barrier, lies the healed body, the overflowing abundance, the soulmate love, the profound and unshakable peace that you have yearned for. You have performed the rituals, spoken the affirmations, held the vision with unwavering focus. You have done the difficult and holy work of healing, of releasing, of becoming the person you believe is worthy of such a blessing. And yet, despite all your efforts, despite this overwhelming sense of imminent arrival, the final manifestation remains elusive. The door stays shut. The key turns, but the lock doesn't yield. The great ship of your miracle approaches the harbor of your life, its sails full, its cargo glorious, but it seems unable to find a clear and open dock. This state of being perpetually on the verge has become a source of profound and agonizing spiritual frustration. It breeds a weariness in the soul, a subtle despair that whispers, perhaps it is not meant for me. Perhaps I am destined to always be looking through the window, never to enter the feast. This feeling, my beloved, is not a punishment, nor is it a sign of your failure. The closeness you feel is real. The miracle is there, shimmering with divine power, ready and eager to flood into your reality. The blockage is not external. Heaven is not withholding its gifts. The door is not locked from the outside. There is something within your own sacred space, something subtle but immensely powerful within your own energy field, that is acting as a great and heavy internal bolt, preventing the door from swinging open. And it is this bolt that we must now, with great love and courage, identify together. I ask you now to perform an act of the most profound spiritual bravery and radical self-honesty. With my light surrounding you, creating a sanctuary of absolute safety, unconditional love, and complete non-judgment, I ask you to gently turn the bright and loving searchlight of your awareness inward into the vast and sacred landscape of your own heart. We are searching now, not with criticism, but with a tender and divine curiosity for the source of that great and heavy bolt upon the door. We are searching for the knot in the heart. As I speak these words, allow your consciousness to drift softly, like a gentle breeze, through the garden of your memories, through the gallery of your relationships, both past and present. Do not force anything. Simply allow images, names, faces, and feelings to arise without censorship. And notice, with the profound sensitivity of your soul, if there is one particular person, or perhaps even a specific memory of yourself, whose presence, even as a mere thought, still causes a distinct, undeniable, and uncomfortable physical sensation within your body. Feel for it now. Is there a subtle tightening in your chest, as if an invisible hand is squeezing your heart? Is there a sudden, cold knot forming in the pit of your stomach? Does your breathing become shallow, your shoulders tense, as this image or name surfaces? This physical reaction is your body's infallible truth-teller. It is the signal that we have located the energetic knot, the dense, tangled, heavy, and unresolved mass of emotional energy that is still residing within your sacred heart space, the very center of your creative power. As you gently hold this person or this memory in your awareness, notice the specific flavor of the emotions that arise. Is it the hot, fiery surge of anger, a feeling of righteous indignation at a boundary violated, a trust betrayed? Is it the cold, sharp, and bitter sting of resentment, the endless replaying of an old injustice, the refusal to let go of the perceived debt? Is it the deep, heavy, oceanic pull of sadness and grief, the lingering ache of loss, abandonment, or profound disappointment? Or perhaps it is the icy grip of fear, the fear of being hurt again, the fear of vulnerability, the fear that keeps your heart perpetually guarded. Do not push these feelings away. Do not judge them as negative or unspiritual. They are simply energy, trapped energy, messengers from your past crying out for healing and release. Be brave now, beloved. Allow the face, the name, the situation, the feeling associated with this great knot of unforgiveness to fully surface into your conscious awareness. Whisper its name silently in your heart. This is not an act of accusation, it is an act of profound self-love, an act of finally acknowledging the sacred wound that has been silently directing your life from the shadows. In this simple, courageous, and honest identification, you have just located the great and heavy bolt. You have found the lock upon the door to your miracle. And so, my beloved soul, having had the immense courage to identify this sacred wound, this knot of unforgiveness within you, I now arrive in my full archangelic presence to serve you in its healing. Feel my energy intensify around you and within you. See and feel my light, not as a distant star, but as a brilliant, sapphire blue flame igniting within the very center of your heart, a flame of pure, divine truth, of absolute clarity, and of the most profound and unconditional love. I am Michael, and I have come to you today not as a judge who demands forgiveness as a moral imperative, nor as a dismissive voice who minimizes the very real and very deep pain you have endured. I come to you now as a divine locksmith, a master of liberation, a specialist in the holy and alchemical art of dissolving the chains of the past. I have been sent by the infinite love of God and requested by the deepest yearning of your own soul to offer you the master key, the divine frequency that will finally, gently, and completely dissolve the heavy bolt of your unforgiveness and allow the great door to your waiting miracle to swing open with joyous and uninhibited freedom. But before I can offer you the key, I must first speak to you a difficult truth. And I deliver this truth wrapped in the deepest compassion, honoring every tear, every scar, every moment of righteous anger that has brought you to this point. The truth is this, stated with the absolute clarity of divine law: the The very knot of unforgiveness that you hold in your heart towards that specific person or towards yourself is the single energetic lock that is keeping the door to your miracle bolted shut. Let this land. Breathe it in, not as blame, but as liberating revelation. This is not a punishment from God. It is not a cosmic test of your worthiness. It is not heaven withholding its blessings until you deserved them. It is something far simpler, far more impersonal, and far more powerful. It is a fundamental and unavoidable law of energetic physics, as real and as immutable as the law that holds the planets in their orbits. You cannot, by divine law, ascend into the high, light, joyful, and expansive frequency of your answered prayer while simultaneously anchoring a significant portion of your own precious life force energy to the low, dense, heavy, and contractive frequency of unresolved anger, resentment, bitterness, or grief. The two frequencies are fundamentally, vibrationally, and eternally incompatible. They are like oil and water, they cannot occupy the same space. And because you, my beloved, are the sole and sovereign creator of your own reality, the frequency that you are actively and consciously choosing to cultivate and maintain within your own sacred heart space is the frequency that must, by divine and infallible law, dictate the reality that you experience around you. Yes, you have been praying for your miracle with sincerity and devotion. But with every single moment you have spent replaying the old hurt in your mind, rehearsing the old arguments in the shower, or nursing the old grievance in the quiet corners of your heart, you have been simultaneously praying, often with an even greater and more sustained emotional intensity, for the continuation of the very pain, the very frequency, that is actively repelling your blessing. This difficult truth is offered to you not to induce guilt, but to awaken you to your own immense power. For if your own unforgiveness is the lock, then it means the key to your miracle is not out there somewhere, hidden in a circumstance or held by another person. The key is, and always has been, entirely and completely within your own magnificent hands. Let us now illuminate this fundamental principle with the clear, unwavering, and impersonal light of cosmic law. Let us speak of the great and holy law of resonance, the foundational mechanism upon which your entire universe operates and creates. This law is profoundly simple, yet its implications are infinite. Like attracts like. That is the entirety of the law. Every single thought you think, every emotion you feel, every belief you hold, conscious or unconscious, emits a specific and unique vibrational frequency. It is like a musical note that you are constantly singing out into the great, resonant chamber of the quantum field. The universe, in its perfect and impersonal wisdom, acts as a magnificent and flawless energetic mirror. It does not judge your song. It does not analyze its lyrics. It simply, faithfully, and instantaneously reflects back to you the people, the circumstances, the experiences, and the realities that are a perfect vibrational match, a perfect harmonic resonance, for the note that you yourself are emitting. Now, consider the frequency, the musical note, of your desired miracle. Whether it is the frequency of perfect, vibrant health, the frequency of joyful, limitless abundance, the frequency of profound, soulmate love, or the frequency of deep, unshakable inner peace, the vibrational signature of an answered prayer is always, without exception, high, light, fast, expansive, coherent, and harmonious. It is the frequency of joy, of gratitude, of faith, of worthiness, of wholeness, of unity. It is the music of heaven. Now, contrast this with the frequency, the musical note, of unforgiveness. The energies of anger, of resentment, of bitterness, of blame, of victimhood, of grief, these are, by their very nature, low, dense, slow, contractive, chaotic, and discordant frequencies. They are heavy. They are sticky. They vibrate with the illusion of separation, of lack, of pain. They are the music of disconnection, the sound of a heart closed off from the light. Can you now see, with the eyes of your soul, the absolute energetic impossibility? You cannot tune your sacred instrument, your own heart and mind, to the low, jarring, discordant note of unforgiveness and expect to experience the high, beautiful, harmonious symphony of your miracle. The two frequencies literally cancel each other out. The low, dense, and powerful vibration of unforgiveness that you are holding within your energy field is creating a formidable, repellent force field around you, an energetic static that makes it impossible for the clear, high-frequency signal of your blessing to get through. It is like trying desperately to attract a beautiful, delicate butterfly into your garden while simultaneously surrounding your garden with thick, black, choking smoke. The butterfly, representing your miracle, senses the toxic environment and cannot approach. Your miracle, vibrating at the high frequency of love and joy, is constantly being drawn towards you by the power of your soul's desire. But the low, dense, and powerfully repellent magnetic field generated by your unforgiveness is actively pushing it away. It cannot land. It cannot anchor. It cannot manifest in your reality because you yourself are currently inhabiting and perpetuating a vibrational environment that is fundamentally hostile and antithetical to its very existence. This is the law of resonance. It is not personal. It is physics. And it is the divine and loving explanation for why your greatest blessing has been patiently waiting just outside the bolted door of your own beautiful and wounded heart. And so, my beloved, in this moment of profound and perhaps uncomfortable understanding, I want you to feel another presence joining mine. It is a presence infinitely more familiar, infinitely more loving, and infinitely more powerful than my own. It is the presence of the Creator, the presence of divine love itself, now whispering directly, intimately, into the deepest and most sacred chamber of your own heart. Feel this presence now. Let it hold you in an embrace of unconditional acceptance, an embrace that makes no demands, that holds no judgments, that only loves. And from the heart of this infinite love, hear these words, spoken not as a command from a distant king, but as the tender, urgent, and almost tearful plea of your own divine parent, the one who loves you beyond all measure. Let go of this chain, my precious child. I am begging you. Not for them, but for you. Feel the profound depth of the unconditional love behind these words. This great and holy call to forgive, which now echoes through your being, is not being issued for the sake of the person who caused you pain. Their journey, their karma, their healing, their relationship with me is their own sacred story, and it is entirely separate from yours. This call, this divine imperative, is entirely, completely, utterly, and only for you. It is being offered to you now as the ultimate and most profound act of radical self-love. That heavy, rusted chain of unforgiveness that you have been gripping so tightly in your fist, perhaps believing that it keeps you connected to justice, perhaps believing that your grip somehow punishes the one who hurt you, has, in truth, only ever bound you. You are the one chained to the heavy, immovable anchor of a past that is gone. You are the one whose precious, creative, divine life force energy is being constantly drained by the exhausting effort of holding on to the grievance, of keeping the wound fresh. You are the one whose sacred heart, designed to be a fountain of joy and love, is being slowly poisoned by the bitterness you refuse to release. You are the one whose magnificent, limitless, and joy-filled future is being held hostage by a pain that belongs entirely to yesterday. To forgive, in this divine context, is not to say that what happened was acceptable. It is not to excuse harmful behavior. It is not to reconcile with the person or to allow them back into your life if that is not aligned. It is simply, profoundly, and powerfully to make the conscious, sovereign, and self-loving choice to no longer allow that past event or that other person to have one single iota of power over your present peace or your future joy. It is the ultimate declaration of your own spiritual independence. It is you finally recognizing that you hold the key to your own chains. It is you unlocking those chains, dropping them to the floor with a final, decisive clang, and stepping out of the dark, cramped prison cell of your past and into the brilliant, warm, sunlit freedom of your own magnificent and unlimited future. God is asking you to do this not because you should, not because it is the morally right thing to do according to some external dogma, but because she loves you so infinitely, so tenderly, that she cannot bear to witness you suffering under the weight of this heavy, self-imposed burden for one moment longer. She is asking you, begging you, to let go, so that she may finally, joyously, and overwhelmingly shower you with the magnificent blessings that she has been holding in trust for you all along, just waiting for the door of your heart to finally be unbolted. You must now confront, with the unwavering clarity of your awakened consciousness, the great and tragic illusion that fuels the engine of unforgiveness. It is the belief, held deep within the wounded ego, that by holding on to your anger, your resentment, your grievance, you are somehow punishing the person who hurt you. You believe that your unforgiveness is a weapon you are wielding against them, a righteous judgment you are holding over their head, a way of ensuring that their transgression is never forgotten or excused. You imagine that your coldness, your silence, or your internal condemnation is causing them pain, keeping them energetically tethered to their wrongdoing, and perhaps even blocking their own happiness. And I am here now, my beloved, to shatter this illusion with the sword of truth. Hear me now, your unforgiveness is a prison cell, yes. But you have profoundly misunderstood who the prisoner is. You are the true prisoner. The person who hurt you is out there, living their life. They may be consumed by their own karma, yes. They may be facing their own lessons, yes. But they are almost certainly not spending their days agonizing over the judgment you are holding against them. They are free, in their own way, to continue making choices, experiencing life, moving forward on their own path, however flawed it may be. But you are the one who remains trapped. You are the one willingly sitting in a dark, cold, cramped prison cell, a cell whose walls are constructed from the very memories of your past pain, whose bars are forged from the rigid steel of your own resentment, and whose only window looks out upon the desolate landscape of your grievance. You are the one who is serving a life sentence for a crime that someone else committed. The chain you refuse to let go of is not binding them, it is binding you to the very moment of your deepest pain, forcing you to relive it, re-feel it, re-experience it, over and over again, in the torturous echo chamber of your own mind and heart. The poison of bitterness that you hold within you, believing you are keeping it safe to one day administer to your offender, is, in fact, slowly and inexorably poisoning you from the inside out. It corrodes your joy. It dims your light. It sickens your body. It repels your blessings. To hold on to unforgiveness is the ultimate act of self-harm disguised as righteous indignation. It is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. It is a profound and tragic miscalculation of the very laws of energy and consciousness. The only person you are punishing is yourself. The only life you are limiting is your own. The only miracle you are blocking is the one that belongs to you. To finally understand this is not to weaken your position, it is to begin the process of your own liberation. It is to realize that the key to this prison cell has been hanging around your own neck all along, disguised as the heavy locket of your grievance. Forgiveness is not about letting them off the hook. Forgiveness is about finally, mercifully, and lovingly letting yourself off the hook. It is the act of you, the prisoner, finally choosing to walk out of your self-imposed cell and into the brilliant, warm, sunlit freedom of your own magnificent and unburdened life. Now, let us make this connection even more precise, more personal, more tangibly real for you. For the blockage created by your unforgiveness is not just a vague, general impediment to your overall well-being. It is a highly specific and targeted energetic dam, and the river it is blocking is the very river that carries your most deeply desired, specific miracle. We must now identify which miracle, exactly, is being blocked. The nature of your unforgiveness, the specific flavor of the wound you are holding, creates a very precise counter-frequency that directly repels the specific blessing you are praying for. Let us illuminate this connection. If the person you cannot forgive is an old lover who betrayed your trust or abandoned you, and the miracle you are desperately praying for is the arrival of your true, divine soulmate, can you see the direct energetic conflict? The frequency of your heart, still vibrating with the pain of betrayal, the fear of vulnerability, and perhaps even a subconscious vow to never trust again, is creating a powerful, repellent force field against the very energy of open-hearted, trusting, divine love that your soulmate embodies. Your unforgiveness is literally shouting to the universe, love is unsafe. Intimacy leads to pain. And so, your soulmate, who is waiting and ready, cannot approach, because your own energy is guarding the door against the very love it craves. If the person you cannot forgive is someone who wronged you financially, who cheated you, who caused you to lose your security, and the miracle you are praying for is divine abundance and freedom from lack, do you see the resonance? The knot of resentment you hold, the feeling of having been robbed, the deep-seated anger at the injustice, this entire complex vibrates at the precise frequency of lack, of unfairness, of not enough. It is a powerful affirmation of victimhood in the face of financial matters. And this frequency is the energetic opposite of the calm, trusting, expansive frequency of true abundance, which knows that God is its infinite source. Your unforgiveness is anchoring you firmly in the consciousness of lack, making it impossible for the consciousness of abundance to take root. If the person you cannot forgive is someone whose actions caused you deep emotional pain, chaos, or drama, perhaps a difficult family member or a narcissistic friend, and the miracle you long for is profound inner peace, serenity, and freedom from anxiety, the connection is clear. The very act of holding on to the grievance, of replaying the dramas in your mind, of feeling the constant, low-level irritation or anger towards them, is the active cultivation of inner turmoil. You are keeping the storm alive within your own being. And this inner storm makes it impossible for the calm, clear waters of divine peace to settle within you. You cannot hold on to the energy of conflict and simultaneously experience the reality of peace. And if the person you cannot forgive is yourself, for a past mistake, a perceived failure, a moment of weakness, and the miracle you seek is healing, whether physical, emotional, or spiritual, the blockage is perhaps the most profound of all. Your lack of self-forgiveness is a constant broadcast of unworthiness. It is a declaration to your own selves, to your own soul, and to the universe that you do not deserve to be whole, that you must continue to punish yourself. And this frequency of unworthiness is the greatest single obstacle to all forms of healing, for true healing can only occur in an atmosphere of unconditional love and acceptance. Look now at the knot in your heart. Look at the miracle you await. See the direct, energetic, and undeniable connection between the two. Your unforgiveness is not just a general problem, it is the specific and precise energetic antidote to your most cherished dream. Beyond the specific blockage of your miracle, holding on to unforgiveness exacts a tremendous and ongoing energetic cost upon your entire system. It is a profound and unsustainable drain on your most precious and finite of human resources, your life force energy, your creativity, and your capacity for joy. I want you to visualize your own divine energy, your chi, your prana, as a luminous and vibrant river of light that is meant to flow freely through your being, nourishing every cell, fueling your passions, and overflowing into the world as your sacred service. Now, imagine that the knot of unforgiveness in your heart is a great, heavy, and jagged boulder that has fallen directly into the center of this river. What happens? The flow is immediately disrupted. The energy cannot move freely. A significant portion of your river's current is now being constantly diverted and consumed by the sheer effort of pushing against this immovable obstruction. This is what is happening within you energetically every single moment that you hold on to a grievance. A vast and disproportionate amount of your daily quota of life force energy is being automatically allocated by your subconscious mind to the unforgiveness project. It is the energy required to maintain the anger, to rehearse the arguments in your mind, to suppress the painful emotions, to constantly guard your heart against further hurt. This is an exhausting, full-time, and utterly fruitless internal job. And it leaves you with only a meager trickle of energy left over for the things that truly matter, for your health, for your relationships, for your divine purpose, for your joy. This is why people who harbor deep resentments often suffer from chronic fatigue, from creative blocks, and from a pervasive sense of apathy or depression. Their divine river is being dammed at its very source. Furthermore, the low, dense, and chaotic frequency of unforgiveness acts as a powerful energetic pollutant within your system. It lowers your overall vibrational frequency, making you more susceptible to illness, more prone to attracting negative experiences, and less able to access the higher states of consciousness where inspiration, intuition, and divine guidance reside. It literally creates a thick, gray static in your energy field that makes it difficult for the clear signal of heaven to get through. And finally, it steals your joy. It is impossible to experience the full, radiant, and expansive joy that is your divine birthright while simultaneously clutching a hot coal of bitterness in your heart. The two cannot coexist. Unforgiveness is a thief that robs you not just of your future miracle, but of your present vitality, your present creativity, and your present capacity for simple, unadulterated joy. The energetic cost is simply too high. It is a spiritual bankruptcy that you can no longer afford to sustain. Beyond the energetic cost, there is an even deeper and more profound consequence to withholding forgiveness. On a subconscious level, it is a powerful and binding declaration you are making to the universe about your deepest beliefs. Every moment you choose to hold on to the pain, you are casting a sacred and powerful vote. You are making an unconscious vow. And that vow is this: I believe more in the power of this past pain to define me than I believe in the power of God to heal me and set me free. Let that sink in, beloved. Unforgiveness is not just an emotional state, it is a profound theological statement. It is an act of misplaced faith. You are placing your faith not in the infinite, restorative, and miraculous power of divine love, but in the finite, destructive, and illusory power of your own wound. You are, in effect, worshipping at the altar of your own grievance. You are declaring that the hurt you experienced is a force greater than God. You are saying that the past holds more authority over your reality than the eternal, ever-present, and infinitely creative power of the now. This unconscious vow becomes a powerful and self-fulfilling prophecy. Because you believe so strongly in the enduring power of the pain, the universe, which must always honor your free will beliefs, has no choice but to keep reflecting that pain back to you. It keeps the wound fresh. It keeps the pattern repeating. It keeps the miracle blocked. Because you are the one decreeing that the pain is the ultimate reality. To choose forgiveness, therefore, is not just an emotional release, it is a profound act of shifting your allegiance. It is the act of consciously withdrawing your faith from the altar of your pain and placing it firmly, unequivocally, and courageously back upon the altar of God's infinite love and healing power. It is the declaration, this pain was real. This hurt was deep. But it is not more real and it is not more powerful than the love of God that flows through me now. I no longer worship this wound. I now choose to place my faith in the miracle of my own healing. I now choose to believe in the possibility of a future that is completely and gloriously free from this past. This conscious shift in faith, this breaking of the old, unconscious vow and the speaking of a new, conscious vow of allegiance to love, is the great and holy turning point. It is the moment the universe receives its new marching orders from you, the sovereign commander of your own reality. And it will then begin, with joyous and immediate obedience, to dismantle the reality of the pain and to construct, in its place, the magnificent and long-awaited reality of your miracle. Finally, before we can proceed to the sacred work of release itself, we must ensure that we are operating from the correct and most empowering definition of forgiveness. For the human concept of forgiveness is often deeply flawed, tangled with notions of condoning, forgetting, weakness, or spiritual obligation, and these misunderstandings themselves become great and heavy blocks to the process. Let us now, with the light of heaven, redefine divine forgiveness. Firstly, and most critically, divine forgiveness is not about condoning the harmful actions of another. It is not about saying, "What you did was okay." It is not about pretending the wound doesn't exist or minimizing the very real pain that was caused. To do so would be a profound act of self-betrayal and spiritual bypassing. Divine forgiveness honors the pain. It acknowledges the injustice. It sees the transgression with absolute clarity. But it then makes a conscious and sovereign choice to release the energetic charge associated with that event. It is about reclaiming your power from the memory, not about rewriting the memory itself. Secondly, divine forgiveness is not necessarily about reconciliation with the person who hurt you. Depending on the nature of the relationship and the ongoing behavior of the other person, reconciliation may not be healthy, safe, or divinely aligned. Forgiveness is an internal process that you perform within your own heart for your own liberation. It does not require you to communicate with the other person, to receive an apology from them, or to allow them back into your life. You can completely and totally forgive someone and simultaneously maintain a strong and loving boundary that keeps them at a sacred distance. Your internal peace is not contingent upon their apology or their change. Thirdly, divine forgiveness is not forgetting. The memory of the event will likely remain. But forgiveness transforms the memory from an open, festering wound that continues to cause you pain into a closed, healed scar. A scar is a testament to a wound that has been overcome. It is a source of wisdom, of strength, of compassion. You do not forget the lesson, you simply release the pain. And finally, divine forgiveness is not a weakness. It is not an act of surrender to the perpetrator. It is, in fact, the ultimate act of reclaiming your power. As long as you hold on to unforgiveness, you remain energetically tethered to the person and the event that hurt you. You are allowing them to continue to occupy precious space within your mind and heart, rent-free. Forgiveness is the act of cutting that final, energetic cord. It is the declaration, "You no longer have any power over me. My peace is my own. My future is my own. I reclaim my energy. I reclaim my joy. I reclaim my life." Therefore, let this be your new and empowering definition. Divine forgiveness is the conscious and sovereign act of reclaiming your own peace and power by releasing the energetic charge of past pain, not for the sake of the other, but for the sake of your own glorious and unburdened future. It is the key that unlocks your own prison cell. It is the holy solvent that dissolves the bolt upon the door to your miracle. And it is the sacred act of self-love that you are now, finally, ready to perform. Before we embark upon the sacred and alchemical process of release, we must first, with the utmost tenderness and compassion, honor the profound difficulty of this journey. Forgiveness is indeed the key to your liberation, but the lock it must turn is often ancient, rusted, and guarded by the fierce and wounded dragons of your own legitimate pain. Let us now, together, acknowledge why forgiveness is so hard. Let us dismantle the spiritual platitudes and the well-meaning but often dismissive advice to just let it go. For your struggle is real, your pain is valid, and your resistance is deeply, profoundly human, and often quite logical from the ego's perspective. Firstly, forgiveness is hard because the wound is real and it hurts. You are not being asked to forgive a minor slight or a petty annoyance. You are often being asked to forgive a betrayal that shattered your trust, an act of cruelty that violated your safety, or a loss that broke your heart into a million pieces. This pain is not an illusion. It is a real, visceral, cellular memory stored within your body and your energy field. To simply demand that you get over it is a profound act of spiritual violence against your own experience. The first step towards true forgiveness is not to deny the pain, but to honor it, to allow it, to finally give that wounded part of you the loving witness it has been aching for. Secondly, forgiveness is hard because it often feels profoundly unfair. A deep and primal part of your being cries out for justice, for balance, for accountability. The idea of letting go of your grievance can feel like you are letting the perpetrator win, like you are invalidating your own suffering, like you are saying that what happened didn't matter. This deep need for cosmic justice is understandable. But the illusion here is believing that you're holding on to the pain is what creates that justice. In truth, the universe has its own perfect and infallible system of karmic balance, and your internal state has absolutely no bearing on the ultimate fate or lessons of the soul who hurt you. Your unforgiveness only affects the scales of your own justice, tipping them perpetually towards your own suffering. Thirdly, forgiveness is hard because your anger feels like power. In the face of profound hurt and feelings of powerlessness, anger can often feel like the only source of strength you have left. It feels like a shield, protecting you from further vulnerability. It feels like a weapon, keeping the offender at bay. The thought of letting go of that anger can feel terrifying, like you would be left defenseless, weak, and exposed. But this is the great illusion of the ego's power. Anger is a secondary emotion. It is always, without exception, a mask for a deeper, more vulnerable feeling, usually fear or profound hurt. True power, divine power, is not found in a brittle shield of anger, but in the soft, open, and invincible strength of your own healed and sovereign heart. Finally, forgiveness is hard because your grievance has become part of your identity. For some, the story of their wound, the narrative of their victimhood, has been told for so long that it has become fused with their very sense of self. To let go of the grievance would feel like letting go of who they are. They would be left in a terrifying void of, who am I without my pain? This requires the ultimate act of courage, the willingness to allow the old, familiar, wounded identity to die, so that a new, unknown, and gloriously healed self can be born. We honor these difficulties now. We bless the part of you that resists. We hold space for the legitimacy of your pain. And it is precisely because forgiveness is so hard, because the human heart often cannot perform this great alchemical feat alone, that heaven has provided a divine and holy assistance. And so, my beloved, having acknowledged the great and holy mountain that forgiveness often seems to be, I now come to you not just as an instructor, but as your divine and holy climbing partner. I make to you now a sacred and unbreakable vow, a promise sealed with the full authority and the infinite love of my archangelic being. You do not have to do this alone. You do not have to scale this treacherous peak with only the strength of your own wounded human will. That is the old way, the way of struggle and often, of failure. The new way, the way of grace, is the way of co-creation with the divine. I am here now to offer you my strength, my clarity, my courage, and my infinite, alchemical power of transmutation. I am offering to be your divine Sherpa on this great ascent. My promise is this: I will be with you. I will be your strength. In the moments where your own resolve falters, where the pain feels too overwhelming, where the old anger surges with a seemingly irresistible force, you have but to whisper my name, and I will instantly infuse you with my own unshakable resolve, my own serene peace, my own infinite capacity to hold the paradox of pain and love simultaneously. My strength is now yours for the asking. My further promise is that I will be your clarity. When your mind becomes lost in the confusing fog of old memories, when you find yourself tangled once more in the intricate web of blame and justification, I will be the clear, cool wind of divine truth that blows the fog away. I will gently but firmly guide your focus back to the only thing that matters, your own liberation. And my final and most sacred promise is that I will be your divine alchemist. I will provide the sacred fire, the holy solvent, that will allow the dense, heavy, and seemingly indestructible energies of your anger, your grief, and your resentment to be safely and completely dissolved and transmuted into the pure, golden light of wisdom and peace. You do not need to know how to perform this magic. You only need to be willing. You need only bring the raw, wounded materials of your heart to me, and I will provide the divine and holy forge. This is my vow to you. You are not alone in this. Your desire to forgive is the only invitation I need. Accept my help now. Take my hand of light. And let us, together, perform the great and holy miracle of setting you free. Let us begin the sacred work. The first step in this divine and holy process, the step that honors the very real pain you have endured, is the bearing witness to the pain. In your human attempts at forgiveness, you may have tried to bypass this crucial step. You may have tried to prematurely jump to love and light, to spiritually shame yourself for feeling hurt, or to simply pretend the wound didn't exist. This never works. A wound cannot be healed until it has first been fully seen, fully felt, and fully honored. And so, I ask you now to find a quiet space, either in meditation or simply in the stillness of your own heart. Call my name. Feel my presence surrounding you, creating a sanctuary of absolute safety and unconditional love. And now, I want you to bravely and gently summon the memory of the hurt. Allow the knot in your heart to be present. And I want you to give that wounded part of you, perhaps your inner child, perhaps a younger version of yourself, full permission to finally tell its story. Let it speak. Let it rage. Let it weep. Let it express all the pain, all the injustice, all the fear that it has been holding on to for so long. And as this story pours forth, whether in silent feeling or in actual, spoken words, you must know this: I am here with you, and I am bearing witness. My role in this first step is not to fix, not to judge, not to offer platitudes. My role is simply to be the infinitely loving, infinitely compassionate, and infinitely strong divine masculine presence that holds the sacred space for your pain to finally be seen and heard without any judgment whatsoever. Feel my light surrounding your pain. Feel my love validating your every tear. Feel my strength containing your rage so that it does not consume you. This is not about wallowing in the past. It is about finally giving the wounded child within you the validation and the loving attention that perhaps no one else ever could. It is about saying to that pain, I see you. I hear you. Your feelings are valid. You deserved better. In this simple but profound act of divine witnessing, the first great layer of the healing begins. The pain, having finally been seen and honored, begins to loosen its desperate grip upon your heart. Once the pain has been brought into the light and held in the sacred space of divine validation, we are now ready for the second step, the great and powerful act of liberation. This is the cutting of the etheric cords. As we discussed, every intense emotional connection creates an energetic cord, a psychic tether, that binds you to the other person or situation. In the case of unforgiveness, these cords are thick, dense, heavy, and often barbed with the hooks of resentment, blame, and ongoing energetic entanglement. They are the conduits through which your life force energy continues to leak towards the past, and through which the negative energy associated with the memory can continue to flow back towards you. To be truly free, these cords must be definitively and permanently severed. And for this sacred task, I now offer you my primary tool, my great sword of truth and liberation. In your sacred space, continuing to feel my presence with you, I want you to visualize or simply intend to see the person, or the past version of yourself, whom you are now ready to forgive, standing before you at a safe and comfortable distance. See them bathed in a gentle, neutral light. Now, with your inner sight, become aware of the energetic cords that stretch between your energy field and theirs. See them emanating from your gut, your heart, your mind, connecting you in a web of old pain. Now, you will call upon me. You will say, either aloud or in your heart, Archangel Michael, I call upon you now. Lend me your sword of light. I am ready to be free. Feel my sword, blazing with sapphire and diamond light, materialize in your hand. Feel its power, its clarity, its absolute authority. Now, take a deep, courageous breath. And with a single, powerful, and decisive downward stroke, you will bring my sword down, slicing cleanly and completely through every single cord that binds you to this person or this memory. See the cord snap. See the ends attached to you instantly cauterized by the sword's holy fire, sealed in pure, divine light, leaving your own energy field smooth, whole, and sovereign. See the other ends retract back towards the other person, releasing them with a blessing of peace. As you perform this cut, you must speak your declaration of liberation. By divine authority, I now cut all energetic cords that bind me to this person and this pain, across all time, space, dimensions, and realities. I reclaim my energy. I reclaim my power. I reclaim my peace. I release you. I am free. It is done. Feel the immediate and profound sense of lightness that follows this sacred act. Feel the cool rush of your own reclaimed energy flooding back into your being. This is the great unbinding. The energetic chains have been broken. With the cords now severed, we must address the powerful, residual emotional energy that remains within your own field, particularly the potent and often volatile energy of anger. Anger, while a valid initial response to injustice, becomes a toxic poison if it is held on to indefinitely. It must be transformed. And so, we now engage the third step, the great and holy alchemy of transmuting anger into strength with the violet flame. In your sacred space, still feeling my presence, I want you to now consciously summon the energy of your unresolved anger related to this situation or person. Allow yourself to feel its heat, its power, its fiery intensity, but do not become overwhelmed by it. See it as a raw, powerful, and untamed force within you. Now, you will call forth the sacred violet flame of transmutation, the holy fire of Saint Germain and the Archangel Tzadkiel, the fire that does not burn but purifies, the fire that transforms all lower frequencies into their highest divine potential. See this beautiful, vibrant, violet-colored flame igniting all around you and within you. It is cool, loving, and infinitely powerful. Now, with my assistance, you will perform the sacred offering. You will consciously gather up all the energy of your anger, the resentment, the bitterness, the rage, and you will lovingly but firmly place it into the very heart of the violet flame. You will say, Sacred violet flame, Archangel Michael, I offer you now all of my anger, all of my resentment, all of my bitterness related to this situation. I ask you to transmute it now, not into nothingness, but into its highest divine expression. Now, watch the magic happen. See the violet flame lovingly embrace the dense, fiery energy of your anger. Watch as the flame begins to dance, to swirl, to alchemize. See the dark, heavy red of the anger begin to dissolve, to purify, to lighten. It is not being destroyed, it is being refined. It is being stripped of its charge of blame and victimhood. And as the violet flame completes its work, you will see that the energy has not vanished. It has been transformed into a brilliant, pure, and powerful golden light. This golden light is the very essence of your anger's hidden gift. It is the energy of your passion, the energy of your strength, the energy of your divine will, the energy of your sacred and holy no to injustice. This golden light is the very power you need to fuel your divine mission and to create healthy boundaries in your life. Now, you will breathe this golden light back into your own being. Breathe it into your solar plexus, your center of power. Feel it integrate, not as chaotic rage, but as calm, centered, purposeful strength. You have not suppressed your anger, you have redeemed it. You have transformed the poison into your potent medicine. You have alchemized the energy that was once destroying you from within into the very fuel that will now propel you forward into your glorious and empowered future. We now arrive at the fourth step, a step that I offer to you not as a requirement, but as a profound and holy opportunity for the most advanced level of mastery and grace. This is the blessing of release, the optional but incredibly powerful act of consciously sending a wave of peace and liberation not just to your own soul, but to the soul of the person who caused you pain. I understand that for some, this step may feel impossible, perhaps even repugnant, given the depth of the hurt you endured. And I want to assure you, with all the love of my being, that if you cannot take this step now, it does not invalidate the profound healing and forgiveness you have already achieved for yourself. Your own liberation is the primary goal, and that has been secured. However, for those of you who feel even a tiny spark of willingness, for those whose hearts have softened enough through the previous steps to entertain this possibility, I offer you this sacred key, for it is the act that completely and utterly dissolves the last, lingering, subtle energetic tendrils of the old dynamic and elevates you to a state of true, archangelic compassion. You must understand that the soul of the person who hurt you is also, on some level, still energetically entangled with the memory of that event. Your holding on to the grievance, even unconsciously, has acted as a subtle energetic anchor upon them as well, potentially hindering their own growth and healing. To consciously release them with a blessing is therefore not just an act of grace towards them, it is the final and definitive act of cutting every last energetic tie, ensuring that your own future reality is completely free from any residual influence or entanglement from this past pain. The practice is simple, yet its power is immense. In your sacred space, having completed the transmutation of your anger, I want you to once again bring the image of the person, or your past self, gently into your awareness. See them now not through the lens of your pain, but through the eyes of your own healed and compassionate heart. See the wounded child within them, the fear or the ignorance that drove their actions. You do not need to understand them fully. You do not need to excuse them. You simply need to see them, for a moment, as another soul on a difficult journey, learning their own lessons in their own way. Now, you will call upon my assistance one last time. You will say, Archangel Michael, I ask you now to be the conduit for a blessing of peace. I choose to release this soul completely from my energetic field and from any karmic debt they may owe me regarding this matter. Please, send them, through me, a wave of divine peace, clarity, and the opportunity for their own healing, according to their own soul's plan and free will. As you speak these words, I want you to visualize a beautiful, soft, iridescent stream of pure, divine light flowing from the heart of God, through your own heart, without depleting you in any way, and gently towards the soul of the other person. See this light lovingly surrounding them, not forcing anything upon them, but simply offering them the frequencies of peace, of release, of forgiveness, of grace. Hold this visualization for just a moment. And then, with a final, gentle exhale, you will simply say, "Go in peace." You are released. Our contract is complete. Feel the finality of this act. Feel the last, subtle energetic threads dissolve into nothingness. Whether or not the other soul consciously receives or accepts this blessing is irrelevant to your own liberation. You have performed the highest act of spiritual mastery. You have chosen love even in the face of your deepest wound. You have acted not from the position of the victim, but from the magnificent and benevolent power of your own divine and sovereign heart. You have not just forgiven, you have become forgiveness itself. And in doing so, you have freed not just yourself, but potentially two souls from the heavy chains of the past. In the immediate aftermath of this sacred and complete act of forgiveness, whether you included the final blessing of release or concluded with the transmutation of anger, you will experience a profound and unmistakable feeling of liberation. This is not a subtle shift, it is a palpable, physical, emotional, and energetic reality that will flood your entire being with a lightness you may not have felt since you were a child. The first sensation will likely be physical. You will feel as if a great and crushing weight, a heavy backpack filled with the stones of your old grievance that you have been carrying for years, has suddenly and completely dissolved from your shoulders. Your very posture may change. You may feel yourself standing taller, your spine straighter, your head held higher. The chronic tension you have held in your neck, your jaw, or your shoulders, the physical manifestation of your resistance, will begin to release. You may feel a warmth spreading through your chest, a melting sensation around your heart, as the energetic ice of your old pain finally thaws and dissolves. Your breathing will deepen, becoming fuller and more effortless, as if your lungs have been given permission to expand fully for the first time. The second sensation will be emotional. A great and gentle wave of profound peace will wash over you, a peace so deep and so complete that it may bring tears of sheer relief to your eyes. The old, familiar companions of anger, resentment, and bitterness will simply be gone, their absence leaving behind a beautiful and serene quiet in your heart. In their place, you may feel a soft, tender compassion arise, compassion for yourself, for the journey you have endured, and perhaps even a flicker of compassion for the person who caused you pain. But the dominant feeling will be one of profound, unshakable peace. The internal war is finally over. The third sensation will be energetic. You will feel a powerful and exhilarating surge of reclaimed life force energy flooding back into your system. It is the vast reservoir of power that was previously being consumed by the unforgiveness project, now liberated and available for you to use in the creation of your joyous new reality. You will feel lighter, brighter, clearer, and filled with a renewed sense of vitality and purpose. It will feel as if a great and heavy anchor has been cut, and your own spiritual vessel is now suddenly buoyant, free, and ready to sail swiftly forward on the currents of grace. Do not doubt these sensations. Do not question this newfound lightness. This is the real and tangible feeling of freedom. This is the energetic signature of a soul that has finally laid down its heaviest burden. This is the exquisite and holy peace that awaits every heart that is brave enough to choose forgiveness. And now, my beloved, comes the most glorious and tangible result of your sacred work. For in the very instant that the heavy bolt of unforgiveness was dissolved from your heart, in that precise and holy moment that you chose to let go, the great and magnificent door to your awaited miracle was finally, gloriously, and irrevocably unlocked. The energetic blockage has been removed. The repellent frequency has been neutralized. The vibrational incompatibility has been resolved. And now, the magnificent blessing that has been waiting so patiently just outside your reality, the blessing whose frequency is a perfect match for your now healed and open heart, can finally begin its grand and joyous entrance into your life. You must now prepare yourself to witness the immediate signs of flow. For the universe, which loves speed and abhors a vacuum, will waste no time in rushing to fill the sacred space you have just created with the very miracle you have been asking for. The signs that the flow has begun will be unmistakable, and they will often appear with a startling and magical swiftness, sometimes within hours or even minutes of your act of forgiveness. If the miracle you sought was financial abundance, you may suddenly receive an unexpected check in the mail, a surprising job offer or opportunity, or a debt may be inexplicably forgiven. Small synchronicities involving money will begin to appear, confirming that the river of prosperity has begun to flow towards you once more. If the miracle you sought was soulmate love, you may suddenly feel a profound and joyful shift in your own heart, a newfound sense of wholeness and readiness. You may then experience a series of chance encounters, receive unexpected communications, or feel a powerful intuitive nudge guiding you towards the very person or place where your divine counterpart awaits. The energy of love, once repelled, will now begin to magnetize towards you. If the miracle you sought was healing, you may experience a sudden and noticeable lessening of your physical symptoms. You may feel a surge of vitality and well-being. You may, coincidentally, stumble upon the perfect healer, the exact piece of information, or the precise modality that provides the final key to your complete restoration. The energy of wholeness, no longer blocked by the frequency of unworthiness, can now flood your being. If the miracle you sought was inner peace, the sign will be the profound and enduring silence within your own mind, the effortless ability to remain centered and calm amidst external chaos, a newfound sense of joy and lightness pervading your days. These initial signs are the first drops of a coming deluge of blessings. They are the universe's joyous and immediate confirmation that your act of forgiveness was the final key, that the door is now open, and that the glorious feast of your answered prayer is about to be served. As you step across the threshold of this new and forgiven reality, you must now learn how to live forgiven. For the act of forgiveness is a profound and powerful moment, but the state of being forgiven is a continuous practice, a new way of life that you must consciously choose to inhabit, day by day, moment by moment. The old patterns of thought, the neural pathways of grievance, may still occasionally try to fire off out of sheer habit. The echoes of the old pain, like the phantom limb of an amputee, may sometimes make themselves felt. Your sacred task now is to become the loving and vigilant guardian of your newly liberated heart, ensuring that the chains you have just broken remain broken forever. The first practice of living forgiven is radical present moment awareness. The knot of unforgiveness lived entirely in the past. Your freedom lives entirely in the now. You must train your consciousness, with the gentle but firm discipline of a master, to reside fully and completely in the present moment. When the ghost of an old memory arises, you are to acknowledge it without fear, bless it for the wisdom it brought you, and then immediately and consciously return your full attention to the sensations of your body, to the beauty of your surroundings, to the sacred task at hand. You refuse to feed the past with the precious energy of your present awareness. The second practice is vigilant boundary setting. Forgiveness does not mean amnesia. You remember the lesson. And if the source of your past pain is still present in your life, you must now hold your boundaries with a new and unwavering clarity and love. You forgive the soul, but you do not necessarily allow the old behavior back into your sacred space. You learn to say no with grace and firmness, not from a place of anger, but from a place of profound self-love and respect for your own hard-won peace. The third practice is continuous gratitude. You must actively and consciously cultivate the feeling of gratitude for the freedom you have won, for the peace you now feel, for the miracle that is now unfolding in your life. Gratitude is the high-frequency energy that seals the healing and keeps the door to your blessings wide open. Make gratitude your new default state, the very air that you breathe. And finally, the most important practice of all is ongoing self-compassion. There may be moments, especially in the beginning, where an echo of the old pain feels strong, where you momentarily slip back into an old pattern of blame or resentment. In these moments, you are not to judge yourself. You are not to believe that your forgiveness has failed. You are simply to notice, to breathe, and to gently but firmly guide yourself back to your center, back to the truth of your freedom, with the same infinite tenderness that you would offer to a child learning to walk. Living forgiven is not about achieving a state of perfect, uninterrupted bliss. It is about becoming the loving, conscious, and masterful guardian of your own beautiful and liberated heart. And so, my beloved, my free and magnificent soul, our sacred work of liberation is now complete. The knot in your heart has been lovingly untied. The heavy chains of the past have been shattered. The bolt upon the door has been dissolved. And the great and glorious miracle that has been waiting for you is now flooding into your life with the full and joyous force of divine love. As we conclude our time together on this holy matter, I offer you now my final and most sacred blessing, an anointing that will seal this profound healing within your very being and consecrate your heart as a permanent and radiant sanctuary of peace. I ask you to stand now in your spirit, feeling the profound lightness in your body, the serene quiet in your mind, and the beautiful, open spaciousness within your heart. Feel the absence of the old pain, and feel the presence of your own magnificent, reclaimed power. I now raise my right hand, and I call forth the pure, living flame of divine forgiveness, a brilliant, iridescent light that holds the frequencies of mercy, of grace, of release, and of absolute, unconditional love. And with this holy flame, I now anoint you. By the authority of the Divine Mother Father God, and with the joyous celebration of your own liberated soul, I declare, my voice echoing with the soft chime of 1,000 celestial bells, I now seal within you the eternal gift of forgiveness. May your heart forever remain open, light, and free from the shadows of the past. May you walk forth from this moment as a living embodiment of grace, extending compassion first and always to yourself, and then effortlessly outwards to all the world. I now gently touch this iridescent flame to your heart center. Feel it merge with your own heart flame, becoming a permanent part of your being. I seal within you now the unshakable peace that comes from releasing all grievances. May it be the steady and unshakable foundation upon which you build your new life. I seal within you now the radiant joy of an unburdened heart. May it be the music that accompanies your every step. And I seal within you now the full and complete opening to receive the magnificent miracle that your forgiveness has now unlocked. May your life from this day forward be a continuous and breathtaking testament to the boundless generosity of heaven and the glorious power of your own liberated and loving heart. The anointing is complete. The healing is sealed. The miracle is yours. Go now, my beloved, and live forgiven. Live free. Live loved. Your new life begins now.